What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the 5th July edition of Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Jimmy Uso arrested again for DUI, Zelina Vega is furious, sad news for Terry Funk, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, as always, we aren't recapping the matches, but just providing you with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, Don't Drop Drew vs Jinder. And last night's bout between Drew McIntyre and former 3MB partner Jinder Mahal has been a long time coming. Fans may recall Jinder's return in 2020 when he teased being a babyface and wanting to work with Drew McIntyre. But that storyline never got anywhere as Mahal was sidelined once again with an injury, but now that Mahal is back, assuming the injury-prone superstar doesn't get hurt again, they have the chance to run what could be a hard-hitting feud. However, it's uncertain whether the WWE is treating this as a one and done or laying the groundwork for a major program. It looks like the WWE wants to turn this into a feud, but with the WWE's habit of dropping things on a dime, you can never be too confident. Both men could benefit from a feud as Drew McIntyre needs some time away from the WWE title picture. Number 2, Riddle, reeking of awesomeness. Now, watching Matt Riddle every week on Raw gives fans hope for the WWE's future. Riddle is an all-around entertaining performer whose gifts in the ring are complemented by an incredible knack for humor and cutting promos that perfectly match his character. Right now, Riddle has the Midas touch as everything he does turns to gold, and there's no telling what the future could hold for this talented star. Riddle reminds us of Edge and Christian's comedic years during the height of their tag team career, and Riddle could match both men's success as well. But that was the good. Yeah, I know there wasn't a lot of it. Well, now let's move on to the bad. As number 1, you can't wrestle. Now, Eva Marie's return has been disappointing, and WWE isn't helping things by putting her in the ring. Eva Marie has never been a competent wrestler, and she's shown no sign of improvement since her last WWE run. She couldn't even do a simple collar and elbow tie-up, for Christ's sakes. I mean, it's really bad. The WWE needs to use her as a personality rather than a wrestler because, quite frankly, she's stinking up the ring. Sometimes I don't know what's worse, my narration skills or her wrestling. Number 2, Jackson Ryker's face turn. A Jackson Ryker's face turn is a complete dud and needs to end immediately. Now, he's not interesting to begin with, and so far he's shown no sign of the all-important ability to connect with the fans. Ryker's program with Elias has been a deadly dull, a mid-card version of Rhea Ripley vs Charlotte, and it's clear the WWE has no idea what to do with him. Well, at least Jackson and R-Truth have something in common. Yeah, moving on. Number 3, cancel Charlotte vs Rhea. The WWE needs to finish the Charlotte vs Rhea feud as the WWE writers continue to find a way to make it less engaging every week. Last night's battle of fake medical excuses wasn't just pointless, it was stupid and did nothing to further their feud. How the WWE has managed to take what should be a white-hot feud and turn it into something more akin to X-Pac heat staggers the mind. Rhea deserves better, and whether you think Charlotte is being overpushed or not, to be honest, she deserves better too. Number 4, Cedric's booking. Now, just when it looks like things can get any worse for Cedric Alexander, the former Hurt Business member is now apparently paired with fellow loser Elias. Cedric, who left his tag team championship team with Shelton Benjamin following their departure from the Hurt Business, found himself teamed with Elias, dropping a handicap match against Jackson Ryker. Now, Cedric has been the biggest casualty from the Hurt Business's breakup, and his current status has to have fans wondering how long it is before he's future endeavored. Seriously, why would you break up a tag team just to go into another tag team? Baffles the mind. But that was the good, the bad. What about the downright ugly? As I come to bury Nero, not to push him. The WWE's burial of Jeff Hardy reached new lows last night as wrestling's charismatic enigma didn't even make it onto Raw. Instead, he worked a dark match. Short of Jeff Hardy having backed his ATV over Mr. McMahon's rose bushes, it's hard to figure out why they're mistreating one of its most consistently popular stars. Although if he keeps being booked this way, no one will care about him. The WWE's booking of Jeff is downright ugly, so much so that we'll release a video examining just what's going on with Jeff Hardy and why the WWE is missing out on a huge opportunity. Well, that was the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. What did you guys think of Raw last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Jimmy Uso being arrested and WWE furious with him. Now, today's top news story concerns current SmackDown superstar Jimmy Uso, who has reportedly been arrested again for driving under the influence. TMZ Sports reported Uso, real name Jonathan Fatu, was pulled over at around 10:35 p.m. on Monday in Pensacola after cops say he ran a red light after being clocked going 50 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. In the docks, officers say during subsequent questioning they smelt booze on the 35-year-old, so they asked him to exit his Dodge Charger. Things only got worse from there as TMZ Sports noted police records indicate cops say when Uso got out of his vehicle, he was noticeably swaying, and claimed that Uso had told him that he had consumed multiple beers before getting behind the wheel. Officers say Uso went on to bomb field sobriety tests, so they arrested him. In the docks, cops claimed Uso's BAC breath test came back at .202 and .205, well above Florida's legal limit of 0.08. Damn, how many beers did he have? Uso was booked on a misdemeanor DUI charge according to TMZ, along with being issued citations for speeding and running a red light. Now, obviously, sadly, this isn't Uso's first DUI, as he was arrested in 2019 for the same thing. Bail was only set at $500, and according to Ringside News, he was released this morning at 9 a.m. It seems that WWE are legitimately angry with Jimmy Uso. The ever-reliable WrestleVotes just tweeted, "I've spoken to 2 sources this morning on the Jimmy Uso news. I can say with certainty that a few high-level people in power are extremely disappointed and legitimately pissed off over the arrest. This many times isn't a mistake or bad luck. It's personal judgment, not good." Now, this is incredibly disappointing. Jimmy Uso has been given a chance as not just a tag team star but a single star, and now he's messed it up again. Yes, there are issues with wrestlers having substance abuse, and I'm not claiming to know about these things, I haven't gone through it. But at this point, action really needs to be taken. It's a second DUI and it just screams irresponsibility rather than a problem. How many chances is he going to get before someone gets hurt or even killed? What do you think should happen to Jimmy Uso? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Bayley screamed at a wrestler. Did SmackDown superstar Bayley scream at a wrestler? Well, that's a story current AEW wrestler Tay Conti told Renee Young during an appearance on Renee Young's Oral Sessions podcast. Conti recalled how she was green as grass in the ring when she tried out for the WWE and that Bayley screamed at her. I had to watch it first and then try to do it. I'm like, oh my god, I have no idea what I'm doing. I had to be copying what other people were doing because I had no clue. But that was fun. That was a great opportunity I'll never forget. And I remember Bayley, like, every time I was doing this, she was like, screaming in my face. She was motivating me. I was like, hell yeah, I like this. Now, although Conti was cut from the WWE, she's currently doing well in AEW. Next up, Zelina Vega is furious. As Zelina Vega is back in the WWE and she's not holding back her opinion on some of the dirt sheets, as Vega tweeted a funny video with the following message. Actual footage of dirt sheet writers trying to think of the next lie to post about me. Dave Meltzer took offense, and while Vega didn't name her in her tweet, Dave Meltzer apparently felt he was being called out. Meltzer commented on the tweet during an episode of the Wrestling Observer Radio and reportedly called her effing stupid twice, saying he now has no respect for her. Vega was obviously unhappy with Meltzer's response and she tweeted, "Hey Dave, instead of calling me names, I'll ask you to point out all the dirt letter writers in that tweet, or will it invalidate your offensive and pointless argument? You can keep your respect because I lost mine for you when you started tearing up and humiliating women in the business for no reason. I wasn't referring to you, but you think the shoe fits, it's on you." Next up, sad news for Terry Funk. Now, we're saddened to report that legendary wrestler Terry Funk has reportedly been diagnosed with dementia. WWE Hall of Famer Don Morocco discussed Funk's condition during a recent episode of his podcast, saying, "I heard that Terry Funk is in his home and disabled for dementia. Yeah, I spoke with Scott Casey over the weekend, and I guess he's all the way down in Amarillo, Texas. So I don't know. I know his wife passed away 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know who he's with or what's going on." That's incredibly sad news for such a veteran like Terry Funk. We hope he's okay. And finally, a third Uso brother warns Roman Reigns. And last but not least, indie wrestler Sefa Fatu is happy to see what his older brother Jay and Jimmy Uso have been doing on SmackDown. Well, probably not in real life, but during an episode on the Muscle Man Malcolm show, he praised their work, but he had some words of warning for cousin Roman Reigns. I think they're doing a good job. First of all, you know it's been a year since they've been running SmackDown, and I think I like this whole storyline going on. Though my cousin better ease up, you know? If I slide in there and leave my brothers alone, but I don't like family drama, man. This interview was made before Jimmy Uso's arrest, and it's unknown how Jimmy's likely absence from television will affect the WWE storyline with the Usos and Roman Reigns. But there you have it guys, the good, the bad and the downright ugly from this week's Raw, as well as the wildest news stories, rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.